Hello and welcome. I'm Michael Cahill. I'm the Dean of Brooklyn Law School. We are very excited to have you here with us as you embark on a life in the law. One of the most exciting but also most daunting things about a career in law is the sheer variety of opportunities that it presents, both in terms of the array of social problems and issues that you can address, and the number of ways and angles from which you can try to tackle them. In my own career, at various times, I've dealt with health law, criminal law, and now, of course, my career is devoted to thinking about legal education itself. So I hope that as you listen to the videos prepared by my colleagues or encounter them in other settings, you will find things that inspire and speak to you. And please follow up with us and use us as a resource throughout your time here in law school to think about what you want to do and how you want to do it, because part of our task is not only to help you achieve your goals and ambitions, but to help you clarify them and identify them. But please take the opportunity to follow up with us and speak more about what you want and how you can achieve it.
My name is Stacy Caplow. I teach criminal law to 1L students, so I hope to see some of you in my class this semester. In the upper class years, I teach immigration law, criminal procedure, and also co-direct the Safe Harbor Project, our immigrant rights clinic. In addition, I'm the Associate Dean for Experiential Education. In that capacity, I may have met some of you at our admitted students days. I hope our clinical programs factored into your decision to attend Brooklyn Law School. They should, because they're great. And you'll have an opportunity to participate in them starting next summer. I assume and hope that throughout this year and the remainder of your years in law school, that you will be engaging deeply in topics of law and social change, and that either immigration or criminal law, or both, will be areas that you'll be interested in.
Hi, I'm Neil Cohen. I teach first-year contracts as well as upper-level courses in domestic and international commercial law and conflict of laws. My scholarship centers around laws that affect access to credit. For the last several years, I've worked with the World Bank and similar organizations to help reform laws that govern access to credit in economically developing countries, particularly in the Caribbean. Access to credit is critically important in economically developing countries because it enables people with ideas but no capital to start their own businesses, and enables micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises to grow and hire more employees. The effect of that, of course, is to reduce unemployment and raise the standard of living for all.
I'm Karen Porter, Associate Dean of Inclusion and Diversity. I want to welcome you to Brooklyn Law School and encourage you to help us help you make this an exciting and engaging year, even as we struggle to meet the challenges of the pandemic and the demands for change and stability around the country. When I'm not serving as Associate Dean, I run our Health Law Center. It's an exciting time to be engaged in thinking about issues of health justice and healthcare delivery. If these are areas of interest for you, I encourage you to come and meet with me. At any point, though, I want you to just know, no matter what your interests are, they're of interest to me, please reach out to me. I hope you're having a wonderful time being introduced to the law school, and I hope to see you.
Hi, my name is Bill Araiza. I teach constitutional law, First Amendment law, and administrative law at Brooklyn Law School. Welcome. My scholarly interests focus on a concept known as equal protection animus. This is still a relatively new, highly under-theorized idea, but one that's already been responsible for an enormous number of very important equal protection decisions the court has handed down. Everything from gay rights cases to the very recent case dealing with DACA and the fate of dreamers have been decided, at least in part, on an animus ground. It's a very exciting time to be thinking about animus, not just because the concept is so intellectually interesting, but because it has such great real-world importance.
Hello, I'm Professor Suzanne Herman, and I teach constitutional law and related subjects. My main extracurricular activity is being president of the American Civil Liberties Union. The ACLU, as you may know, works in 14 areas of civil rights and civil liberties, from abortion to voting rights, from challenging policies like family separation to the impact of COVID, and to the immense challenges of trying to dismantle structural racism. I like to bring some of these urgent conversations into my classroom when we're studying the 18th century Constitution and looking at how it operates today, both in theory and in practice.
I'm Maryellen Fullerton, and I'll meet some of you soon in my fall semester civil procedure class. For those I don't meet in civil procedure, I hope I'll see you in some of the other courses I teach, which include federal courts, immigration law, refugee law, and a variety of others. The theme that runs through all the courses I teach and all the writing I do is the importance of creating and applying fair procedures to determining decisions that affect individuals and society at large. My research specifically focuses on asylum procedures, and I've had the good fortune for studying asylum procedures in many other countries, from Hungary and Poland to Germany, Denmark, Belgium, Italy, Spain, and Portugal. Closer to home, Dean Stacy Caplow and I have worked with asylum seekers in Tijuana, Mexico. We there assisted individuals returned from the United States, where they tried to apply for asylum, to wait in Mexico for their day in San Diego Immigration Court. When you're at Brooklyn Law School, I hope you'll find interest and involvement in immigration or asylum or many of the other pressing issues of the day.
I'm Michael Gerber, and I will be teaching contracts to first-year students, and it's a course that all of you will be familiar with by the end of this academic year. But today I'd like to talk about another course that I teach, and it's a course called Debtors and Creditors' Rights. I know, it's kind of an interesting name. Civil rights, LGBTQ rights, women's rights, employee rights, international human rights. All of these are concepts that you're probably fairly familiar with. But debtors and creditors' rights? What's that? Well, debtors and creditors' rights is primarily a course about bankruptcy, because bankruptcy is the venue in which the rights of debtors and creditors are sorted out. I think that very few entering students arrive at law school thinking about practicing bankruptcy law as a career. I didn't. I was an English and journalism major, and I had a background in publishing. My plan was to be an intellectual property lawyer, and yet I found bankruptcy so fascinating that I adopted it, or more likely, it adopted me. Brooklyn Law School has a long and deep history of producing distinguished bankruptcy judges and lawyers. Each year, many of our students provide pro bono representation to financially beleaguered consumer debtors. They help them work things out with their landlords and lenders. Their goal is to help them hold on to their homes and their apartments and their cars. Other students serve as judicial interns in our federal bankruptcy courts, and many go on to serve the bankruptcy courts as law clerks after they graduate. Many of our students will join bankruptcy practices, large and small, and who knows, perhaps you will too.
Hi, I'm Liz Schneider, professor of law, and I am wanting to welcome all of you who are joining in the first year of Brooklyn Law School. I will be teaching some of you civil procedure, and I'm really excited to meet you and look forward to that. And I will also be involved in many public interest activities in the law school this fall and spring. I come from a public interest law background. I clerked for Judge Motley, Chief Judge of the Southern District, who was the first African-American woman federal judge in the country. And I worked at the Center for Constitutional Rights, where I did gender equality and racial equality and international human rights litigation. And when I joined the faculty at Brooklyn Law School, I founded the Edward Sparrow Public Interest Law Fellowship Program. I hope you have a wonderful and exciting first week of classes, and I look forward to seeing many of you soon.
Hey BLS students, my name is Robin Effron. I teach civil procedure and international business classes here at the law school. I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you and talking to you in particular about how my scholarship really intersects with what's going on. I teach a lot about complex litigation, which is class actions and mass actions. And I also write about those subjects as well. And as you can imagine, only a few months into this global pandemic, we are already seeing how the court system is struggling to figure out how to handle the massive number of claims, whether it's from businesses who have experienced interruptions, whether it's from people who have become sick or fear becoming sick and are worried that it is the result of the actions of their employers or someone else, or the many, many other ways in which we expect that people will be turning to the court system and other systems of dispute resolution to resolve those claims.
I teach tax law at Brooklyn Law School, and I'm really excited to have you all join us, and I hope to see you in a tax class in the near future. My work outside of teaching is telling stories, and one of the stories I told recently in an article in Tax Notes is about the involvement of the Congressional Black Caucus, especially Charlie Rangel from Harlem and former President Obama, getting involved in international tax policymaking. They showed up not once but twice, shook things up, and had a hugely positive impact on the world.
Hi, I'm Alice Ristroph. I teach criminal law, criminal procedure, and constitutional law. One project I've been working on for a few years that seems especially urgent right now is a study of the way that legal education and the way we teach criminal law in particular may have contributed to mass incarceration and racial inequality in the American criminal law. When you realize you've been part of a problem, you do also have an opportunity to be part of the solution. And that's where my head is right now, thinking of better ways to design criminal law courses.
Hello, I'm Professor Brakman. I can't wait to meet you. And this spring, I'll have my first chance to meet some of you when I teach property to first years. This fall, while you're learning from some of my colleagues, I'll be teaching upper class students corporations, our entry-level business law course. My scholarship explores how these private law subjects can be a force for social good. I write about philanthropy and social enterprise and sustainable investing. If any of this interests you, please reach out, and welcome to Brooklyn Law School.
I'm Professor David Reiss. I teach the Community Development Clinic and real estate related classes. Our clinic provides transactional legal services to underserved communities in Brooklyn and beyond. And we are one of the handful of providers who provide transactional services so people could start not-for-profits to help better their communities. And this work is very rewarding for me and for my students. My scholarship focuses on the housing markets in the United States and ensuring that they remain open to all. And finally, I'm the chair of the New York City Rent Guidelines Board, which balances the interests of landlords and tenants in New York City to make sure that we have a safe and healthy and well-maintained housing system throughout New York City.
Hi, I'm Professor Cynthia Godsoe, and I teach classes in criminal law, family law, children's law, and a sex crime seminar. Before coming to teaching, I worked as a public defender for juveniles accused of crimes and also in impact litigation to improve the prison and foster care systems. It's still my passion, working to try to make society more equal for families marginalized by race, class, and immigration status. It's what I write and teach about and work on reform efforts with advocates, including lots of BLS students and alums. Although this time is really tragic with the disproportionate impact of COVID pandemic on marginalized groups and police killings of Black and Brown people, it's also an opportunity for us to reimagine what we want our society to look like. So many students, alums, and faculty at BLS are involved in this effort, and I'm sure that you will contribute a lot as our newest members of the Brooklyn community.
Hello, my name is Frank Pasquale, and I do a lot of research on technology and law. I have a new book coming out this fall called New Laws of Robotics, Defending Human Expertise in the Age of AI. And I've been asked to talk about how is that research relevant to the daily lives of lawyers and others. And one of the things that I've been really focusing on in my research is what are the type of tasks that can be automated that an AI or software can do, and what are the things that are lasting jobs or jobs that we're going to be doing for the next years or decades. And what I've argued in my book and in prior articles is that a lot of what lawyers do can't be automated. And in my classes on health law, in administrative law, copyright, my seminars, I focus on exactly that line between what can be automated, what can't be, what's subject to artificial intelligence taking over, and what is not.
Hi, I'm Professor Heidi Brown, and I teach legal research and writing. And my work, both inside and outside the classroom, focuses on helping law students and lawyers amplify our voices authentically. When I was a lawyer, I was a construction litigator, and I grappled a lot with my introversion, but also social anxiety and performance anxiety. So I wrote a book called The Introverted Lawyer and another one called Untangling Fear in Lawyering, because my goal is to make sure that every law student knows that there's an important place for you in the legal profession, especially now when we need so many diverse voices to be heard and speak up. So I'm looking forward to meeting all of you, and I wish you a great first week.
I'm Jonathan Askin. I run the Brooklyn Law Incubator and Policy Clinic. The Book Clinic is a full-service law firm run by law students and faculty in which we represent novel, socially virtuous ventures, usually pursuing issues that the law hasn't anticipated. 5 years ago, a lot of our energies turned to things like blockchain technology and cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence and its effect on society. During the past year, we have focused a lot of our energies on the most pressing issues of the day, which are, probably by most accounts, pandemic mitigation efforts and social protest movement support activities. The objective is to make sure that there is always a meaningful, empowered, vital role for law students and lawyers on the vanguard of society to make sure that we can help steer society in a virtuous path and to make sure we can help stave off potential dystopian futures.
Hi, my name is Susan Hazeldean. I teach family law and direct the LGBT Advocacy Clinic, where students represent LGBTQ plus folks in a variety of cases, including immigrants seeking asylum, people in family cases looking to secure their relationship with their children, and clients who face discrimination at home, at work, at school, in jail, or in other parts of the community and looking for redress. My scholarship also focuses on the ongoing struggle for LGBTQ equality. I just published an article in the Cornell Law Review called Privacy as Pretext that discusses how opponents of LGBT rights have used privacy as an excuse to roll back anti-discrimination protections and justify discrimination and violence against LGBT people, particularly Black trans women. I'd be very excited to meet you. Welcome to Brooklyn Law School. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Hi, I'm Professor Jodi Balsam. I direct and teach in the Externship program, and I teach sports law. I came to academia after 20 years of practicing law, serving mainly sports and entertainment clients, including as in-house counsel at the National Football League. I also currently serve as an independent arbitrator for high-level NCAA infractions cases. I write and speak broadly about sports law issues. I serve on the editorial boards of leading sports law publications. My scholarly and professional activities greatly inform my classroom teaching and enhance student learning as I am able to provide essential context for the legal developments in the sports industry. I also advise students interested in practicing sports law, helping them plan for academic, scholarly, and professional experiences that will open doors for them. This extends to serving as faculty advisor for the Brooklyn Entertainment and Sports Law Society and individually advising many students who write journal notes or independent research papers in this field.
I'm Kate Mogulescu, and I direct the Criminal Defense and Advocacy Clinic. Our clinic now represents survivors of gender-based violence who have been criminalized and incarcerated. We work with them to seek freedom or relief from everything that flows from that criminalization. In this moment, particularly, we are continuing to work on what it means to be a lawyer that stands in solidarity and engages in collaboration with those that are most impacted by the legal systems in which we practice. We figure out where lawyers fit in a larger struggle and larger movement. I'm excited to have all of you join the Brooklyn Law School community so that you can work with us to do precisely that. And my virtual door remains open, so I hope to engage with as many of you as possible.
My name is Professor Shane Dizon. My pronouns are he, his, and him. I'm the director of the Academic Success Program at Brooklyn Law, one of the oldest in the country at any given law school. This mission is personal for me. I was the beneficiary of an academic support program when I was in law school and feel a responsibility to pay it forward to future generations of law students to help them achieve their academic, bar exam, and professional goals. Myself, as well as my 2 other colleagues in academic success, look forward to helping you achieve all of your accomplishments and learn the very challenging but very rewarding work of understanding and mastering legal analysis.
Hello, entering Brooklyn Law School students. I'm Debbie Bechtel, and I'm a clinical professor. I teach the Corporate and Real Estate Clinic and also the Real Estate and Community Development Externship. I'm also the Deputy Director of the Center for Urban Business Entrepreneurship. Students in my clinic represent low-income co-op boards around the city. The survival of these co-ops in gentrifying neighborhoods has actually been quite crucial in combating displacement of Black, minority, and other low-income families. At a time when the city is battling a pandemic and also confronting the impact of systemic racism, the importance of affordable housing work is amplified, I think. If you're interested in affordable housing or real estate or entrepreneurship and you have any questions for me, just email me and I'm happy to set up a time to chat.
Hi everyone, my name is Professor Joy Kanwar and I teach legal writing here at Brooklyn Law School. I wanted to extend a warm welcome to all the entering first year law students and just let you know we are so excited that you're here. We've been prepping all summer and we've been looking forward to this week for months. Some of you might be in my Intro to Study of Law class in the orientation week, but otherwise I hope I get a chance to meet all of you at some point. My personal teaching philosophy is to welcome everyone into the classroom, whether you come from a long line of attorneys or whether you're first generation to the profession. All of you are always welcome, and we are just thrilled that you're here. Thank you.
1Ls, welcome to Brooklyn Law School. My name is Professor Wilfred Codrington, and I am also going into my first year at Brooklyn Law School. So I'm really excited to be joining the BLS community with you. A little bit about myself. I am a first generation college student and the first one in my family to go to graduate school. I have worked in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors, and I have a legal advocacy and public policy background that focuses on democracy reform. I hope to use this experience to inform my research and scholarship, as well as my teaching this fall in my election law class, but also in constitutional law in the spring when I'll have the privilege of teaching some of you. So I look forward to meeting you then, if not before. But until then, stay safe, be well, and again, welcome.
Welcome. I'm Professor Midwood, Assistant Director of Academic Success here at Brooklyn Law School. My role is to support you during your legal education and in the transition from law school into your professional life. Although I don't teach any first-year courses, my door is open, my figurative door during the pandemic. Please feel free to email me anytime. I'm here to create a space for you so that you can sort out what your goals are, and I'm also here to help you lay the foundation for achieving success in those goals. So that can mean helping you sort through the logical structure of an argument. It can mean helping you analyze a problem in your civil procedure course. It can mean encouraging you to cultivate the discipline and the tolerance for repetitive tasks that's often necessary when you're trying to really master a difficult subject. Or it can simply mean being a sounding board when you're not sure if you're on the right track.
Hi, my name is Carrie Teicher, and I teach legal research and writing for JD and LL.M students. I also teach Gateways to Lawyering in the spring semester. In my class, you will learn to become effective communicators and clear, analytical legal thinkers. I can think of no more important skills needed to effect change during these difficult and challenging times. Welcome to Brooklyn Law School, and I look forward to meeting all of you.
My name is Vijay Raghavan. I will be teaching Consumer Law in the fall, which is an upper division course, and Contracts in the spring, which is a 1L course. My primary research interest is in consumer debt, which concerns mortgages, auto loans, payday loans, and the student loans many of you have. I'm interested in how the law shapes the size and distribution of debt in our society and how we can reallocate that distribution to relieve consumers, many of whom are low income and people of color, of the severe debt burdens they face. I came to the Academy after over a decade in public service, wrestling with these questions. I was really frustrated with our collective failure and my own failure to address the problems that caused the financial crisis and that followed from the crisis, through where we essentially bailed out the wealthy and settled the poor with most of the costs of the crisis. I hope through teaching and research to be able to figure out why things went so wrong and how we can do better. These are really scary and challenging times, but in some ways, perhaps it's the most exciting time to be a law student. People are rethinking the way we study, approach, and think about the law, and asking questions that really haven't been part of mainstream debate in the law in a really long time. And I'm really looking forward to embarking on the journey with all of you of rethinking how we can reshape the law to be a bit more fair and equitable.
Hi, I'm Professor Cecilia Silver. Welcome to Brooklyn Law School. I teach the first year courses Legal Research and Writing and Gateway to Lawyering, Law, and Business. I look forward to meeting you and to teaching you the reading, analytical, and communication skills that will help prepare you for class, succeed on your exams, and thrive in your careers.
Hi, I'm Sarah Lohr, co-director of the Disability and Civil Rights Clinic. I run the clinic with Professor Priyanka Nair, and I hope we both get a chance to get to know you during your time here at BLS. The clinic brings civil rights actions on behalf of adults with intellectual disability, whether those adults are incarcerated or whether they're parents who are stuck in the child welfare system and are facing discriminatory removal of their children or in other areas of their lives. We also advocate for policy change and along other legal avenues. Before joining Brooklyn Law School, I was a public defender, and my current scholarship focused specifically on the extent to which Black, brown, and disabled mothers are denied the fundamental right to parent. I'm very interested in how the child welfare system operates to oppress and monitor Black and brown families in New York City, and what we as lawyers can do to challenge and disrupt current structures of policing and law enforcement. I welcome you guys to come visit us in the clinic. We'd be really happy to get to know you, and welcome to the law school.
Hi, I'm Breon. I'm a faculty member within the Academic Success Department here at Brooklyn Law School. My pronouns are she and her. The work I do in supporting students in their development as future lawyers and helping them have the skills to basically navigate law school starts with my own personal experience, right? I'll give you an example and say that learning the law is kind of like learning a new language. I personally was not familiar with a lot of the systems, a lot of the actors, a lot of the words that came up in my actual legal studies. All I was focused on was this outcome that I thought was, how do I bring about a more just world? That was my goal. What that actually looked like and what it entailed, I didn't know. And so students coming from all different backgrounds really are being introduced to a lot of things for the first time. And the Academic Success Department kind of is there to think about what skills will help you navigate that experience.
My name is Faiza Sayed, and I am a visiting professor of clinical law with the Safe Harbor Clinic, in which students represent individuals seeking asylum and other forms of immigration relief. My work in the clinic and as a scholar writing on immigration issues was inspired by the experiences of my own immigrant family and of the experiences of the many immigrants I had the privilege of representing. Now, I first began working on immigration issues as a law student, so I would encourage you to take advantage of the many opportunities here at BLS and in New York City in general to serve this population who needs you now more than ever.